Good morning students, welcome to my YouTube channel and I hope that you all are happy and well at your homes during the crisis of coronavirus and I also hope that you all use this time for the useful things or the meaningful things. Okay, so let's start the second video of the chapter, the story of Palampur village. This is the first chapter of economics and your syllabus class 9th. Okay, so last time we have studied about certain topics and many topics of this chapter, like the story of Palampur village. How is Palampur look like? What are the main activities carried out in Palampur, and what are the main things carried out in Palampur by the villagers? Okay, so basically last time we had started that, and let's take a recap of 5 minutes of the topics which we had covered earlier. Okay, so let's start our recapitulation from the story of Palampur village. Basically, we had deal last time that Palampur was an imaginary village. We take Palampur as an imaginary village to understand the activities. What are the activities undergoing in a particular rural area? Okay, so in Palampur, basically Palampur was a modern type village of India. Basically, in this village, there are many. Basically, there are 450 families are lived, in which all the majority of peoples work the farming as their main primary or economic activity. Okay, certainly there were many activities practiced by the villagers of Palampur, like farming was their main activity, and apart from farming all the peoples have also do certain type of activities like farming, like dairy activity, like dairy, like manufacturing, small scale works, or the certain works like transport, like pulling the rickshaw, like started the tonga. Okay, so many things they were under the economic activities, and the Palampur village was also connected by a pakka roads. Okay, and there is also electricity, proper electricity in the village, and there is a proper hospital, proper education system. There is a high school, inter school and a high school in the village. Okay, and there are a primary health center and a hospital in this village, and this village is connected by another villages by a pakka roads. Okay, so basically this village is a model of modern village. Okay, so basically after that, apart from that, we had studied that in these villages mainly landlords are also lived, and the small farmers or the medium farmers are also lived. So let's start this chapter by understanding the factors of production. Last time we had studied also about the factors of production. So first of all, we had to understand the meaning of production. So what is production? Production means when we convert a primary product into a usable form, this is known as production. Okay, let's take an example of production, like when we converted sugarcane into sugar. Okay, when we converted cotton into a shirt, when we converted wheat into a bread. So that is the example of manufacturing, that is the example of production. Okay, when we convert primary product into a usable form, when we converted iron ore into the iron sheets or the iron belts. Okay, so that is the example of what? Production. Okay, basically there are five units which are, there are five factors which are involved to do production. Okay, so basically the first unit was land. To do production, we must have land in which we would to do production. Okay, the second thing which is required for a production is labor. Okay, a land is acquired in which a factory is made, and labor is also used to do the production. The third thing is required is physical capital. Physical capital means the capital which is required to start a factory, to start that production. Basically physical capital is divided into two parts: fixed capital and working capital. Fixed capital means the machines which is required to do a production, and the working capital means money and the everyday expense to money and working, money and raw material which is required day by day in the factory production. The fourth factor to do production is human capital. Human capital means all the technical stuff which is required to do a production, which is required to scrutinize, to understand, to uh, 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 do the which is required to control the production, to see how the production is going on, how the production would benefit, how the production going on in the factory. So that is the work of a human capital. The last factor of production is entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the owner of the production unit. Okay, so basically in a production process there are five main units are involved. That is land, labor, capital. Capital is divided into two parts, physical and working. The fourth one is human capital, and the last one is entrepreneur. Okay, so that is the factors of production. So basically now discuss in detail about the factors of production. Let's take the first example of land. Okay, so basically if we talk about land, then India, we have 32,87,263 square kilometer of area. Okay, and as you all know that land is not increased. Land is not increased. Land has not increased. Land increase nahi hota hai. So basically within a fixed territory we have to do agriculture. We have to do all the economic activities in a certain and a particular area. So basically our population is increased, our population would increase, our population increase in future. Okay, so but we have to do production only on the limited land. Basically we have farmlands, we have wasteland also. In the in class 10 syllabus, when you will pass the class 9, then you will class 10th, then you will read the resources chapter in class 10. Okay, so in class 10 you will read about the land resources, then you will understand the how land is utilized in different ways. Okay, so basically land is not increased during the years. We only converted the wasteland into a farmland or wasteland into a useful land. Okay, so basically if we talk about land, then we say that land is not increased. We have only do production on a limited area. Okay, so let's start it. Land, we have to only increase the production of the land to fulfill our requirement, to fulfill our activities. Okay, so by the help of two things we have to increase our we had increased our production. Like the first thing, after independence we had increased multiple cropping to increase our production. Basically when British left us in 1947, then the condition of the country was very worst. At that time our agriculture productivity was very less. To increase that productivity we have to increase the land productivity. Okay, so in after the 1947 years, after the 1947 years when British left us, so after that we had started mixed cropping. Mixed cropping means a farmland in which mixed crops are grown, so that the productivity of the farmland would maintain and would increase. Okay, so basically in mixed cropping we have to use like in a particular year we had to we grown different types of crop, mixed types of crop. Like we have to introduce we grown wheat at the same time, and in the wheat we have also grown 2 or 3 types of trees in the farmland, or we also used different types of trees. But the mixed cropping means different types of crops at the same time, so that the production of a particular land should be maintained. Okay, the second thing which was introduced in the years of 1960s and 1970s was the Green Revolution. Okay, basically if we talk about Green Revolution, basically in the Green Revolution was introduced by the our second Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, and it was properly implemented by the third Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Okay, so basically in they had started the Green Revolution technique to increase the production of our country. Before that we were dependent upon United States of America to procure grains or wheat and rice from United States of America. But after 1960s, when Indira Gandhi took the charge and implemented the ideas and implemented the Green Revolution, then Green Revolution has started. By the help of Green Revolution, certain modern techniques were used to increase the production of the land. Okay, so basically Green Revolution was a revolution to increase the production of our wheat and rice production. Okay, before that India was dependent upon United States of America, and when Green Revolution was implemented after the years of 1960s and 70s, our production would increase in terms of wheat and rice. And the effect of mostly effect of Green Revolution was seen on Punjab, Haryana and Western UP, because these states have properly implemented the concept of green revolution, and they are in present also they are also far from the far from the all the states in the case of agriculture. Okay, wheat and rice is also grown in these areas and in a large amount. Okay, basically the production activity, the productive ability of three states is very high. Okay, so the capacity of production is very high of these three states. Okay, so green revolution introduced a powerful idea to increase our production in terms of the grains, or in terms of wheat or rice. Okay, after that green revolution was introduced, and in green revolution we have started to use different varieties of seeds to increase our production, like HYV seeds. HYV seeds means high yielding variety seed. These seeds increase the production activity of the land. Okay, they were responsible to increase the production activity of the land, like high yielding variety seeds. Okay, so now that is the effect of green revolution on the Indian landscape was positive as well as negative. As you all know, the coin has two faces, positive and a negative, or head or a tail. So basically it has positive as well as negative aspect. Positive aspects, basically it increased the production of the land, it reduced the dependency upon different states. Okay, the first positive aspects of the green revolution was to increase the productivity of our country. It also reduced the dependency of India upon United States of America to procure food grains. The third positive impact of green revolution was that it also reduced to use the foreign currency to use our foreign currency to procure food grains. मीन्स हम इससे हमारा क्या हुआ, विदेशी मुद्रा भी बचा. जो मुद्रा, जिस पैसे का यूज़ हम जिस डॉलर का यूज़ करते थे वहाँ से फूड ग्रेन्स को खरीदने में, वो भी बच गया. दैट इज ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ ग्रीन रिवोल्यूशन. ओके, but on the other hand there were also negative aspects also. Green revolution reduced the fertility of the soil, because extensive use of pesticides and extensive use of fertilizers in the soil would increase the reduction in the fertility of the soil. Okay, so that is the negative aspect. Second thing is, it also differentiate between the different, it also create interstate disparities. Interstate disparity means some states are going well in terms of green revolution, some states are not going well in terms of green revolution. As I told earlier that Punjab, Haryana and Western UP are far away from the other states in terms of green revolution. Okay, the third positive aspects of green revolution, the third negative aspects of green revolution was it also affect the fertility, and it also affect the water, it also affect the groundwater, because on the soil all the chemicals from the soil gone through the groundwater, and it also pollute the groundwater. Okay, so that is the positive and negative aspects of green revolution. Okay, so basically let's start our next topic of labor. Okay, so basically we have to understand our topic land, and after that we had started our topic labor. Basically, if we talk about labor in India, we had a population of 130 crores, and in terms of this population we can say that our country is also an agro based country, or a agriculture based country. Okay, basically most of the population is working in the agricultural sector. Okay, so basically when we talk about on the labor, the production activity is carried out by two types of farmers: the small scale farmers and the medium and large scale farmers. Small scale farmers are the farmers which have less than 2 acre of land. Means they are the farmers which mainly dependent upon, which they have their own farmlands, or they work on the farmlands of the large scale farmers. Okay, they don't have particular money to buy the product, to buy the essential goods for the production. Okay, they only dependent either they are production in their own land, or they do agriculture on the fields of other farmers. Okay, so they are the small farmers. Small farmers have not the ability to buy the essential goods to do production in their farmlands, and they only do production for their only family. Okay, they don't have the capacity to accumulate the surplus food grain. They have only the capacity uh, to satisfy their own needs or their family. Okay, on the other hand, there are large scale farmers. Large scale farmers are the farmers which have more than 2 acre of land, and the large scale farmers are the farmers which have the capacity or the ability to in their farmlands. The small scale farmers are worked. Okay, and they can satisfy their needs, and by the surplus, after satisfying their needs, the remaining crops they sold at the in the urban areas. Okay, so by the help of these after selling the crops, they get money, and after getting money, they have the ability to buy the seeds, to buy the essential goods, to buy the essential material which is required to do the production, like the seeds, like the essential goods, fertilizers. Okay, all the basic thing which is required to do the production. Okay, so basically there are two types of farmers: small scale farmers who have less than 2 acre of land, and who is only do farming to increase its on to satisfy their own needs or their family. Then on the other hand, there are large scale farmers. Large scale farmers are the farmers who also satisfy their needs, and also they have surplus of food grains which they sold in the markets and earn money. By the help of that money, they buy certain goods, and by that goods they have to produce more food grains. Okay, so these farmers are in profitable condition, and the small scale farmers are in the loss of farmers basically. Okay, so let's take the third topic, capital. Basically, if we talk about capital, then we can say that basically the modern farming of based on two types of farmers, as we discussed: small scale farmers and large scale farmers. Okay, basically the small scale farmers, the capital, small scale farmers have not so much capital because they don't have enough money by selling, because they are only dependent upon what they are only dependent and satisfy their own needs. Okay, on the other hand, large scale farmers have the enough money to buy the essential goods for the production. Okay, so in terms of capital, the small scale farmers had not so much capital. Okay, but on the other hand, the medium and large scale farmers have enough capital to satisfy their or to buy the essential goods. Okay, so basically the modern farmers have or modern farming, they have enough money to to buy a certain product, or they also by the help of this money, basically they have medium or they have medium or large scale money, so that they can growing well, and they also have money to do certain non-economic activities, like they started mill in their villages, they started other works, like different thing, like mills, like they have also used the laborers, they also hire laborers to work on their fields. Okay, so basically on the terms of capital, that is the small scale farmer and the large scale farmer. Okay, and I hope that you understand all the concept which I have taught you, and if you have any doubt and any query regarding any topic of this chapter, the story of Palampur, then you can ask me in the comment section, and you also call me on my number. Okay, and thank you for watching me. Bye.